G'day mates, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be covering everything you need to know about the Solo All Stars FNCS, which is coming up in a few weeks, how the skill games are going to work, how the finals are going to work, but also how the qualifiers are going to work. Because in case you missed this, there's 10 spots up for grabs in each region, which means we are going to have a 4-round qualifying tournament. Even if you don't think you'll make top 10 to make it into the finals, you could still play in round 1, 2, 3, and even potentially round 4. So there is a massively stacked solos tournament just around the corner, and not a lot of people are talking about it. Also, if you didn't already know, as part of this solo FNCS All-Stars event, there's also these creative skill challenges, which look really fun. A lot of them have the pros who have already been placing in FNCS, but also 2 players got invited from a whole bunch of different regions, including big content creators, which means Mongrel is going to be making it to the All-Star FNCS, Micho is playing, Fresh is playing, the X2 Twins are playing. It's super exciting, so I'm going to cover all the details about the qualifiers, all the details about the solo finals, and then all the details about the creative skill games, because there's some big money up for grabs. Big money. First place on EU is going to walk away with $150,000. That's a big prize pool we haven't seen in quite a while. So let's jump into it. If you guys don't know where I'm getting all this information from, or if anything is unclear, link in the description down below to the full blog post from Epic Games. But let's just jump into it. Let's start from the top of their blog post. Hype days, June 11th to June 13th. Now remember, that's now. So they said starting June 11th, you'll see some of your favorite Fortnite creators across the globe getting involved in the hype for the FNCS All-Star Showdown. To open the festivities of the FNCS All-Star Showdown, they'll be hosting their own challenges and tournaments focused on the FNCS All-Star Showdown and the creative skills challenges. This is what I believe we're seeing with the Amar Cup. If you guys don't know, there's an Amar Solos tournament taking place today by the time you probably watch this video, so make sure you're watching that. Whole bunch of EU solo players playing in that. $10,000 prize pool. It looks kind of ridiculous. They said your favorite creators, plural, and June 11th to 13th. We really haven't had anything else announced, so I think this is happening pretty last minute, but still pretty exciting. Now, solo all-star play-in, June 18th to June 20th. This is the one for you guys who are solo demons who want to play in this tournament. So you might have thought your chance of competing in the FNCS All-Star Showdown was over. Well, think again. We'll be hosting the solo all-star play-in tournament for all eligible Champion League players on June 18th to 20th. Now, this is why we had the preseason. The reason we don't have arena points resetting is now very clear. It is for the qualifiers for this tournament. Do I agree with that? Still not so much. I think in a 4-round tournament, you could have very easily just reset arena points, or better yet, reset arena points. And if people don't get Champions Division by June 18th, or maybe even Contenders Division, they shouldn't be able to play. And that would have been sick. That would have made people want to grind arena and want to play. And I know what casuals are going to say, Aussie, that's not fair. Not all of us can play for 8 hours a day. Not all of us can, get to champs that quickly. I would kind of argue that then the FNCS All-Stars shouldn't really be catering to players like that, though. It should be catering to the pros. And if you're a casual who's not going to be able to get champs or Contenders Division that quickly, you probably wouldn't have done that well anyway. But again, I guess it's a chance to play in a tournament, which is a bit of fun. So I would argue making it Contenders Division, which is like 2,000 points in 2 weeks, isn't that hard at all. And that if players aren't that good, they're going to get knocked out of round 1 anyway. So it's not going to be like there's people, who wouldn't have got it if they did reset points, making it all the way to finals. So I did kind of want to mention that after my frustration of the preseason, especially lasting 2 weeks, I was expecting like a big Winter Real, big Summer Real tournament. It's really only for 10 qualifiers to make it through into round 4. I'm gonna still be hyped though. I'm not gonna let my frustration about the preseason affect the fact that I am very hyped for the solo FNCS All-Stars. It looks like it's gonna be an awesome tournament, and if this is what it takes to get more people involved in playing it and competing, I'll take a hit to my enjoyment at the start of the season. But let's talk about it. Round 1, open to all eligible Champion Leagues players. Round 2, Europe, NA East, NA West, and Brazil, which is interesting. NA West is still counted as one of the big regions in this, but if you look at other tournaments like the new UEFA League tournament, NA West is now dropped down into the smaller regions like Asia, OC, and Middle East. I thought that was interesting, but moving on. Top 2,000 players in each will go from round 1 to round 2 in the big regions. The smaller regions, Asia, OC, and Middle East, top 1,000 players will go through to round 2. Round 3, Europe and NA East, the top 600 players will go through. NA West and Brazil, the top 500 players will go through. Asia, OC, and Middle East, the top 350 players will go through. Round 4 is obviously going to be the top 100 players in each region from round 3. And then from that, in the round 4, the top 10 players will be going through to play in the FNCS All Stars final. So it's all about that top 10. Unfortunately, outside of that though, there is no prize money. So no money is going to go to anyone except for those top 10. And even then, they have to do well in the finals to make that money. So like I said, it's not really exactly what I was hoping for or expecting in the new season, like a big, Winter Royale tournament for everybody. This really was more of like an FNCS, which is what it is. As far as the format, obviously it's going to be solos. Victory Royale is worth 30 points and each elimination is worth 1. So it is very, very placement heavy, which I am a huge fan of. In round 4 though, eliminations are worth 2, which again makes sense. Those aggressive players, you got to think about like your Clixes, your Days. If they can drop big frags in a round 4 format, they should be rewarded for that. So having each elimination worth 1 point in round 1, 2, and 3, and then having eliminations worth 2 points in round 4 is overall good. And as far as the placement goes, you get 1 placement point for top 75, 2 for top 50, 3 for top 40, and so on. So it does start out pretty early on and it does go up quite gradually. Towards the end, you start getting a little bit more with 5 bonus for the Vic Roy, but overall it's a pretty good format. I really like it. Once we have the top 10 from every region, they will be playing in the finals, which is taking place on June 23rd, 24th, 25th, and 26th. This is where the big prize money is as well. If you want to see the actual prize pool, you got to go to the official rules, which again, I'll link that in the description down below as well. But like I already touched on earlier, EU, first place, $150,000. Second place, $120,000. Third place, $100,000. Fourth place, $80,000. Fifth, $70,000. Sixth, $60,000. Seventh, $50,000. You see where I'm going with this. This prize pool is ridiculous. Obviously, that's EU, which gets the biggest chunk, but NAE still first place getting 75, second getting 50, third getting 45. Like, this is a lot of money on the line. Plus, another thing you'll probably see here, most eliminations in solos match $1,020 for EU. So whoever gets the most elims each game is going to get over $1,000 on EU, which is a pretty cool concept. It kind of takes me back to the skirmish days back in the day. I always make this joke on stream that like back in the day, Epic Games was just like throwing money at issues. Before Storm Surge was in the game, their way of getting people to try to fight and be more active mid-game is they'd have like a siren golf in the room and it would be like big bonus time. Whoever gets the next elimination gets $50,000. Like, just ridiculous where Fortnite used to be, but I like seeing them bring that fun, cool stuff back. Most eliminations in a grand, $1,000. I mean, also, it's going to promote players to try until the very end. Not only does the prize pool really start to ramp up when you place in that top 10 mark, but even going from, let's say, like, if you get from 76th up to, let's say, 26th, that goes from $2,000 to $5,000, and like 1 or 2 good games is more than enough to jump that amount. So it really does promote players to try harder when there is any single game. The 6th game could be your one game where you get all your eliminations and now you walk away $1,000 richer. I really, really like that. Again, obviously the smaller regions are getting less money overall, but it is a really, really solid prize pool. As far as who's actually qualified into the finals already for the solos, I remember Epic talked about and made an announcement that it was going to be the most consistent teams that played together through Season 5 and Season 6 combined. Turns out they kind of changed their mind on that, which has left a few pro teams upset because teams like Degen, Ages, and Skittles have already talked about how the reason they stayed together after last FNCS was because they wanted to make sure they were consistent across both FNCSs. It looks like what's ended up happening is Epic has just invited the top 15 teams from both FNCSs, and if any of those doubled up, they just rolled the spot down. It didn't really go to like most consistent, but that makes up the 90 players already invited because obviously you've got 2 times 15, 30. 30 times 3 equals 90 because it's trios. Those are the 90 players. If you want a full list of who's invited, it's at the bottom of that blog post. Right down the bottom, it's NA East, EU. It's all split up, which is really nice of Epic. I like that they've done that. Normally we rely on like Fortnite Tracker to check who's actually qualified into things, but you'll notice some notable names are missing, like Mongrel Metro, because they didn't do well in either of the last FNCSs, so we're not going to see them play in the solo finals, but what they have been invited to is the skills challenges. This is something we've never seen before. These are like pretty much, I talked about this already, it's kind of like Epic is going off the NBA finals where they have like skill challenges and they have different tests. So what they said is skill challenges, June 23rd to 24th. Leading up to the FNCS All Star Solo Championship on June 26th, we'll be running 3 bracket style skills challenges centered around building, editing, and aiming. Partnering with Immature Gamer, Enigma, and Dumb Blonde, we'll be bringing you 5 different Fortnite creative maps and a welcome HUD that we'll be using during the entire event. So I'll talk about how these events work in a second, just so you get an overall idea though. These builders made some incredible islands specifically for the FNCS All Star Showdown, and if you'd like, you support them using code FNCS All Star Creators. That's kind of cool. They gave them a creator code where I guess if people use that, the revenue might be split between them all. That's kind of cool. Each skills challenge will be a double elimination bracket style competition with 8 total players competing. I'll explain what that means in a second. The top 3 teams from Chapter 2 Season 5 and the top 3 teams from Chapter 2 Season 6 will designate one person from their respective trio to compete in the skills challenges. So with the 3, like let's just take Jack, Slacks, and Acorn, right? Jack, Slacks, and Acorn, they're going to pick one player from their team to compete in each one. So they might have Jack do the aim course, Slacks does the editing course, and then Acorn does the build course. Obviously, I'm just spitballing. I don't know what they've picked, but that's how it's going to work as far as the designation goes. Additionally, we've invited 2 players from each region to fill out the remaining 2 spots in each skills challenge. Only qualified or invited players to the FNCS All-Star Showdown skill challenges are eligible for prizes. So that means basically there's no qualification process from this. So before I go through exactly how each challenge works, let me just show you like an example of how it's going to work. Because if you go down to the very bottom of that blog post, you can see who the invited players are. And it looks like they've invited players based on content. I think that's how it's looking so far, because if we take EU, it's Wolfie, CRR, Mongrel, Mitro, Cooler Aqua, and Freemock. If we take OCE, you've got Fresh, you got the X2 twins, and Fresh have pretty much been invited, as well as Rel, Nubatoon, and Oatly. So you can see where they're going. It looks like they're going pretty much off content. NA East, we had Felix, Sprite, Calazo, Coop, FaZe Sway, and Booger. So it's kind of cool they're doing this. Don't get me wrong. I really like the fact that they are inviting people. You'll notice there that Clicks is missing off that list. So I mean, like, again, you're going to see some of those players who don't have that great relationship with Epic still kind of being left behind and not getting advantages that other people are going to get. West, you have Symmetrical, Falconer, Reet, Riversan, Wavy Jacob, and Favs. Brazil, you have Lasers, Bruno, Polga, DK. Bruno gets invited twice, I guess. That's kind of weird. Dot, Kisatrin, Bruno again. I'm so confused. What's going on with Bruno? Why is he invited to everything? And Leleo. Maybe Brazil fans, help me out here. I might be missing something. Middle East, you've got NK, Hero, GNTL, Mythic, Spy, and Helon. Asia, you have Wildhawk, Game with Humuppy, Nator, Mouthin, Yasia, and then Game with Nephrite. And I already talked about OCE. So those are the invited players. And then obviously you've just got to go back and look at the finalists for whoever came top 3 in the last 2 FNCSs. And those are the ones who are also already going to be in it. We don't know who they've designated yet as well. You might be able to talk to some of the pros or see on social media. They might say who they're designating. There's some that you can kind of imagine. I'm guessing like if you look at Reverse 2K, Day, and Miro, I'm going to imagine it's probably going to be Miro doing the editing, Day doing the building, and maybe Reverse 2K doing the aiming. You basically want to put forward the player that you think is going to do the best, but it's kind of like a selfish thing. It's who's going to do the best for them, because the way the prize money works is you just win it. So if you look at Bullseye, Bonanza, and high tier prizes, if you look at those ones, so the 3 main ones for EU, first place gets 10,000, second place gets 7,500, third gets 5,000, fourth gets 2,500, and fifth to eighth gets 1,250. That money's not split with your teammates. Like if Jack gets put forward for the aim course and then Jack wins it, he gets the $10,000, not his teammates. So this could create a little bit of debate between teammates. Like I've got to imagine, you know, both Day and Miro are phenomenal free builders. They might both want to do the build course, and maybe one of them doesn't want to do the edit course, but whoever ends up getting to do it, it doesn't help their team. I would have maybe liked it like you put forward your team, and at the end, whoever has the best score across all of them, they get the money split between them, so it feels like a team event, but I guess they're trying to make it feel like a solo event, because that wouldn't really work unless you invited an extra player to fill out full trios from the invited. So let's just go through what the game modes are though. You can go in and try any of these maps yourself if you want. All the codes are on the website. Kicking off, you have Blueprint Battle. Players will go head-to-head in the Blueprint Battle to determine who can make it through the edit course the fastest. Players will be challenged with different building edits in their way as they run through the map. Jump into the map yourself and see how fast you can get through the course. Share your results on Twitter using the hashtag Blueprint Battle hashtag. And there's the code. I did this today against Muzz for a bit of a meme on stream. It's a pretty standard edit course. Nothing super crazy, so it's going to be interesting to see how these guys go. It looks like the winning time will be around 3 minutes, so it's not a super long course, but it's your stereotypical edit course. Bullseye Bonanza, again, it's just going to be an aim training course. This one was a bit weirder because I would expect it to look a little bit more like a Scavox style, like, Tile Frenzy. They do have that at the end, but it looks like for the most part, it's a lot of just hitting human targets, so this is going to play into certain players' skill level more than others. You also have high tier. Players will be required to make it from point A to point B by tunneling, cranking 90s, and waterfalling through high tier. It's just a build course. This one's going to be a little bit harder because they have to know the specific types of builds they're going to need to do each part. The edit course, you do it a few times and you get the rhythm of what edits you're doing. The aim course is very simple, just shoot the targets. And then obviously the last one, play for keeps. This is weird. This one is very interesting. After the skills challenge wrap up, we'll be holding a team competition in a game called Play for Keeps that will showcase who's got the best overall skills in Fortnite without the ability to build structures. So this is kind of just aiming and movement, I guess. This 3v3 game mode pits the top 4 FNCS trios in each region against each other in a single elimination bracket. Teams will need to secure the Play for Keeps llama and retainer to earn points. So it looks like it's kind of like capture the flag type thing, or it's kind of king of the hill, I guess. You've got to get on the point and hold it, but you carry the item. The other team will work to eliminate the holder of the llama until it's in their possession. But again, a bit of fun. That one out of all of them seems to be like the most fun. I don't want to get this impression going that it's like, oh, they're just throwing money at creative like it's prop hunt and, it's like a death run. The first 3 are very skill-based and you're going up against players on your own region. It looks like Play for Keeps is kind of like the for fun one, just to have a bit of craziness. The way the actual ones work as well is really cool. If you look at how Blueprint Battles kind of like bracket closes out here, it's really good. You're literally head-to-head. Like, you're next to them on the course. They race each other. Whoever gets through first progresses, and then again and again. I really like that. I think it's going to be super entertaining to watch and get behind and really build some hype up for it. And you get to kind of reward players for different skill sets. It's kind of weird how they invited people. The one that I'll use for an example, and again, no flame to my man Fresh. I love Fresh, but he got put in the Blueprint Battle against Nubatoon. An edit course between Fresh and Nubatoon is probably one-sided. I don't want to flame again. Nubatoon and Fresh have to verse all the other FNCS winners, but how they did the inviting and decided who goes where, probably would have liked to see maybe Fresh go in the Bullseye Bonanza, test his aim, but at the end of the day, I'm sure Fresh is going to handle like a champ, and we're going to see, content going up against the Sweat, same as always, but it should be interesting to see. The last thing as well was the All-Star Championship, but they have the All-Star Trick Shot. Just looking to have some fun and show off your trick shots, jump into the FNCS All-Star Trick Shot map to create some shareable clips, and I guess they'll probably share them on their socials and hype it up, which is a cool concept, but that basically sums up all the skill game modes. The last part of the blog was also an announcement about hosting your own broadcast, which is kind of cool. Maybe something I'm going to get in on. We'll see. It looks like they're giving like a live game feed like I commentate on when I'm, commentating NA East on the official broadcast, but you can get that game feed yourself so you can just watch it and do a viewing party and not have the commentators going. So that's kind of a cool concept and something I might be interested in as well, but they do also have the Twitch drops, which is super cool. As always, I'll have drops enabled on my stream. I will be doing viewing parties for all the regions that I'm not broadcasting. Can't announce anything yet. Don't know if I'm going to be involved in the broadcast, but hopefully, we get an announcement of the talent, and fingers crossed, I'm holding it down for NA East as always, but that means I will be doing viewing parties for the other regions. And again, this time it looks like the Twitch drops is going to include an emoticon, a spray, a loading screen, but this time a back bling. That's pretty cool. I've always wanted to see them step it up a bit and really give, a pickaxe, back bling, or skin rather than just all the other, like, I don't want to say lower tier cosmetics, but you know what I mean. You get more hyped over a pickaxe than you do a spray, but that pretty much does it for the All-Stars FNCS blog post. I'm super excited that we have a tournament kicking off this early into the season with such a ridiculous prize pool. You guys know me. I'm trying to stay positive. I always try to stay positive. I don't want to sound like a downer and feel like I was expecting more. I was only expecting something different and something more because of the no arena point reset, because I feel like holding all the players to not have a really hyped start of the season and get to grind out their points and really enjoy the season so 10 people can qualify through is a bit off for me. But at the same time, with that kind of money on the line and that kind of a competitive tournament, I get why Epic has made the decision to have it only be for champs divisions to try to hold the competitive integrity of the event, so it's not just anyone playing in round one. I get that. I understand where Epic's come from, and now I have a bit more understanding than what I did before when I was getting frustrated about the preseason. But I don't want that to diminish from the fact that this is going to be a super exciting tournament, and I hope it does become a staple or more regular in the competitive Fortnite ecosystem. Alright guys, that does it for another video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please chuck a like on it. Let me know in the comments section down below your thoughts on anything I talked about today. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. It would mean the world to me. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.